like to introduce our last team member, Juliet.
Konnichiwa. Good afternoon. My name is Juliet Mothershed, and I am a freelance public relations and communications specialist. And I have to say, it was quite an experience being on the other side of the paparazzi, being a publicist, and then going from being one of the people trying to take the photos and make the press happen to being the news story, essentially, and being, sometimes we were chased by photographers. So that was one really fun, amazing experience. It was nice to feel like a bit of a movie star. So, but it's nice to come back home and relax too with all of our friends and all of you. On my vocational days, I visited several television cable companies and a news channel. I met with newspaper publishers and editors. And I have to say, you know, in Japan, it's not as globalized as it is here in America and in Los Angeles. They take a lot of pride in their hometown newspapers and their hometown television channels. So a lot of the channels that you probably remember having be, you know, your home channel or your own neighborhood channel, those things are still, you know, big and strong over there, while here they're tending to dwindle away. I know that in certain communities in this district, the public access and community access is going away, but over there, it's still very strong and such a very important part of their community. You know, it was a priceless learning experience for someone whose trade is communications, to be so limited in language. But I have to say, you know, I learned one thing: speaking louder doesn't make your Japanese any better. Having a good memory does help, though. I'll tell you this one story. I was taken into a news studio for the TV channel serving the city of Odawara, where Iyuki is from. And they wanted to interview me on television in Japanese. Oh, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you, but my Japanese is not very good. They said, okay, no problem. You just answer the questions in English, and we'll just simultaneously translate. So thankfully they let me practice, and I really had put all of my brain cells to work memorizing all of those questions and how complex they were. It was about 6 lengthy questions. Why are you here? What does Rotary do? And I had to memorize what it meant in Japanese, translate in my head, and then answer it in English while they simultaneously translated. It was an experience. It was an experience, and I'll tell you, the next time I set up a television interview for someone, especially if they have limited language skills, this is just going to really put me in their shoes, and it was such an amazing experience. And thank God for our translators, and thank you to the Rotary members and Rotary friends who helped us prepare for this experience, because language was just so key. You know, I discovered that one of the other keys to communication was simply to try your best and to be gracious and humble. There was one instance where I was complimented on my Japanese, and I had learned, I think thanks to some of the kids in our little pocket guidebook, how to say, oh, it's no big deal. In Japanese, sore hodo demo. Your Japanese is very good. Sore hodo demo. I have to say, being humble and being gracious is so much a part of the way people communicate in Japanese. It taught me so much. A new level of how to respect others with the way I speak and the way I talk to people. And that's something that, for a communications professional, is just so priceless. I can tell you that since I've been back, I have been so much freer with saying thank you and trying to really let people know how grateful I am for their time, for their help, for their presence. So that's just something that I will carry with me and hopefully pass on to my children and other people that I know in business, and hopefully it's one of those things that has a domino effect. You know, one gracious person, I think, can have a great effect on the rest of us. You know, a smile, a thank you really does go a long way. It's contagious. You know, but I think there are a couple phrases phrases and sentences that moved me the most. My first homestay, they had two little girls, a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, and they were learning English, as all kids of this age do in Japan. They were learning English in school, and their parents were so excited that an English-speaking person was going to be in the house because this would be a great learning experience for those little girls. And I thought, this is going to be great for me because maybe I can speak, if I can get to where I can speak Japanese like a 3rd grader, I would do really good. But they were so nervous to talk to me. You know, a lot of times we get so hesitant to do anything if we know we can't do it well. That's exactly what these little girls were going through. They didn't want to talk to me. They were so afraid of speaking English to me because they thought they would say the wrong thing, and they were very humble and very shy. But on the day I was going to leave that family, I stayed with that family for 3 days. The eldest daughter, she says to me, Juliet, that's my name in Japanese. Juliet, no go. No go, Juliet. I want hug. Oh my gosh! Not only was she speaking English, finally, she was telling me exactly what she wanted, and I think as Kara already mentioned, you know, affection is a really big deal, and it's something reserved for the most private family moments. And here was this child opening her heart to me and speaking English for the very first time to me. I want hug. So of course I hugged her. It was an amazing experience, and that tiny little sentence, even though it wasn't what she thought was good English, it was perfect. It was the perfect thing to say. And so I just want to leave that with you, that sometimes if you just speak from your heart, no matter what language you're speaking, you really will do your best. So thank you very much.